Let me tell you something. If you're not achieving your goals, it's not because you're not capable. It's not because life is unfair, and it's not because you're unlucky. It's because you've settled. You've accepted less than you're capable of. You've built walls of excuses so tall you can't even see your own potential anymore. And deep down, you know it. You say you want success. You say you want change. You say you want to live a better life. But your actions don't match your words. You want to lose weight, but you keep skipping the gym. You want financial freedom, but you waste hours scrolling through your phone instead of building something real. You want a great relationship, but you don't even have a great relationship with yourself. You keep saying, someday. You keep waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect timing, the perfect conditions. And guess what? That perfect moment never comes. You're not achieving your goals because your standards are too low. You've made peace with mediocrity. You've learned how to justify staying stuck. You tell yourself you're doing your best, but you know that's not true. You've built comfort zones that feel safe but are slowly killing your drive, your hunger, your spirit. And until you raise your standards, until you demand more from yourself, nothing will change. The truth is, success doesn't come to those who want it. It comes to those who refuse to live without it. You have to become obsessed with progress. You have to be willing to go through pain, through rejection, through failure, through loneliness, because that's the price of greatness. You have to get hungry again. You have to stop negotiating with your excuses and start demanding results from yourself. You're not achieving your goals because you've made your fears bigger than your dreams. You've let the voice of doubt drown out the voice of possibility. Every time you start something, you start questioning, what if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if people laugh at me? And you let that fear stop you. But the people who win, the people who actually change their lives, they feel that fear and move forward. Anyway, they've trained their minds to turn fear into fuel. They've learned that pain is temporary, but regret lasts forever. And let's be real, maybe the reason you're not achieving your goals is because your why isn't strong enough. You say you want it, but do you need it? Are you willing to do whatever it takes? Because when your why becomes powerful enough, you'll stop making excuses. You'll stop complaining. You'll stop blaming others. You'll wake up earlier. You'll push harder. You'll keep going when everyone else quits. You'll stop saying, I can't, and start saying, I must. So if you're tired of not achieving your goals, stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what am I doing to make it happen? Because your results don't lie. Your life is a reflection of your standards, your habits, your consistency. If you're not achieving what you want, it's not a punishment. It's feedback. Life is saying, step up. You want to change your life, then change your habits, change your energy, change your story. Stop telling yourself you're not ready, that you're not good enough, that it's too hard. Stop feeding your limitations and start feeding your potential. You have the power to change everything right now, but you've got to stop waiting for motivation. You've got to start moving even when you don't feel like it. The gap between where you are and where you want to be isn't filled with luck. It's filled with discipline, hunger, and relentless action. Every goal you've ever dreamed of is waiting for you, but it won't come to you. You've got to go get it. You've got to fight for it. You've got to decide that you're done living below your potential, because the truth is the life you want isn't hiding from you. You're hiding from it. The question is, when are you going to stop? When are you going to finally step into the version of yourself that you know you were born to be? You already have everything you need, the strength, the potential, the fire, but you've got to ignite it. You've got to stop wishing and start working. You've got to stop talking about your dreams and start living them, because your goals are waiting, and they're not going to wait forever. Your standards determine your success. Raise them. Every single outcome in your life, every result you have or don't have, is tied to the standards you've set for yourself. Look around at your life right now, your body, your finances, your relationships, your mindset, all of it is a reflection of what you've decided to tolerate. The truth is, you don't get what you want, you get what you're willing to settle for. Most people say they want success, they want health, they want happiness, but what they truly have are preferences, not standards. A preference says, I'd like to be fit, but a standard says, I refuse to live in a body that doesn't represent my best. A preference says, I'd like to make more money, but a standard says, I will not stop until I achieve financial freedom. The difference between wanting something and having it is found in the level of demand you place on yourself. People with low standards make excuses. They adapt to weakness. They justify mediocrity. They say things like, I'll start tomorrow, or it's not that bad, or I tried. But people with high standards don't negotiate with excuses. They eliminate them. They understand that life will only rise to meet the expectations they hold for themselves. When you decide that average is no longer acceptable, when you decide that good enough is not enough, everything changes. You start showing up differently. You stop blaming others. You stop waiting for luck or motivation. You start demanding more from your actions, your time, your energy. You become the kind of person who follows through no matter what your standards are not words, they are behaviors. They are the invisible rules that dictate how you live, how you work, how you think, and how you respond when things get hard. The person who refuses to give up has a standard that says, I don't quit. The person who wakes up early every day, even when tired, has a standard that says, I honor my commitments. The person who stays focused while everyone else gets distracted has a standard that says, my dreams deserve my attention. The quality of your life mirrors the quality of your standards because your standards shape your habits and your habits shape your destiny. You cannot expect to achieve greatness while maintaining the standards of comfort. Success is built by people who set expectations that stretch them beyond what feels easy or convenient. It's about demanding more from yourself than anyone else ever would. It's about saying, I hold myself to a higher code. When others settle, you keep pushing. When others make excuses, you find solutions. When others say it's impossible, you look for a way. High standards don't mean perfection. They mean refusing to settle for less than you are capable of becoming. They mean you demand growth, not comfort progress, not excuses. Think about the people you admire, the ones who've created something extraordinary. What sets them apart isn't talent alone. It's the standards they live by. They refuse to tolerate mediocrity in their performance, in their effort, in their results. They don't wait for conditions to be right. They create them. They don't need someone to remind them to show up. Their standards won't let them stay still. They don't seek validation. Their validation comes from knowing they gave everything they had. The truth is, your identity follows your standards. If you keep saying, I'm just not disciplined, or I'm not lucky, you're creating an identity that matches your low expectations. But when you say, I'm someone who always follows through, or I demand excellence from myself, you begin to live into that truth. Your standards are built in the moments no one sees. When you're tired but still do the work. When you're discouraged but keep pushing. When you're tempted to quit but refuse. That's where self-respect is built. Every time you honor your standards, you strengthen your confidence. Every time you break them, you weaken your power. The reason so many people struggle isn't because they lack opportunity. It's because they keep breaking promises to themselves. They say they'll change, but they don't. They say they'll start, but they delay. They say they'll commit, but they quit when it's inconvenient. That pattern destroys belief. The only way to break it is to raise your standards and make following through non-negotiable. You have to decide that you will no longer accept your own excuses. You have to draw a line in the sand and say, this is where it changes. Because until you raise your standards, life will keep giving you the same lessons, the same struggles, the same results. You can't pray for a new level while living with the old mindset. You can't want more and keep acting like less. Raising your standards isn't about working harder. It's about expecting more from yourself consistently, even when no one's watching. It's about aligning your behaviors with the life you say you want. You want success, then act like someone who deserves it. You want respect, then carry yourself like someone who commands it. You want abundance, then live like someone who's worthy of it. Every person reaches a point where they must decide what they will no longer tolerate. Maybe it's the laziness, the procrastination, the negative environment, the lack of effort, the endless distractions. Whatever it is, once you decide you're done, your life begins to shift. You start cutting out the things that drain you and investing in the things that build you. You start saying no to what doesn't serve your purpose. You start taking ownership of everything, your time, your mindset, your discipline. That's what high standards look like in action. They don't come from arrogance. They come from self-respect. They're not about comparing yourself to others. They're about becoming the best version of yourself. When you raise your standards, the world takes notice. Opportunities start appearing because you're operating at a higher frequency. People respect you because they can feel your integrity. You attract better relationships because you're not willing to settle for toxic ones. You make better decisions because your standards won't allow you to choose temporary pleasure over long-term growth. Everything around you begins to rise to match your energy. But it all starts with a decision to raise the bar, to demand more from yourself, to live with purpose and intention. The moment you commit to higher standards, life will test you. You'll face challenges designed to see if you truly mean it. You'll be tempted to fall back into comfort, but that's the moment that defines you. When you choose to hold the line, when you choose growth over ease, you begin to transform from the inside out. Raising your standards doesn't just change what you do, it changes who you are. And once you become the kind of person who demands excellence, who refuses to compromise, who lives with discipline and drive, the results take care of themselves. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Act now. The illusion of the perfect time is the biggest lie holding you back from everything you want in life. You keep telling yourself, I'll start when I have more time, more money, more energy, more clarity. But that moment never comes. Life doesn't wait for you to be ready. The people who succeed, the ones who change their reality, are the ones who start before they're prepared. They act in uncertainty. They move while scared. They build momentum in chaos. Waiting for perfect conditions is another form of fear disguised as logic. It's your comfort zone trying to protect you from discomfort, but that protection is the very thing that's suffocating your potential. Every dream begins in imperfection. Every success story starts messy, uncomfortable, and uncertain. The greatest achievements in history didn't come from people who had everything figured out. They came from people who took one bold step when everyone else was waiting for a guarantee. The truth is, progress creates clarity, not the other way around. You don't need to know every step before you start. You just need to take the first one. The universe rewards action, not hesitation. When you move, things begin to shift. Doors open, opportunities appear, people show up to help you. But none of that happens until you move. So many people talk themselves out of greatness because they overthink every detail. They analyze, they doubt, they seek validation. They plan endlessly but never execute. And while they're stuck preparing for the perfect time, someone else, less talented, less experienced, less ready, just starts, and that person wins. Because success doesn't go to the smartest or most skilled. It goes to the one who's willing to act when others freeze. You can't build momentum standing still. You can't learn by waiting. You learn by doing, by falling, by adjusting. Every mistake brings wisdom. Every setback builds strength. The only true failure is never starting at all. The perfect time is a lie your mind tells you to justify procrastination. It whispers, not yet. Wait a little longer. You'll start when things calm down, but things never calm down. There's always something: stress, bills, family, doubt, fear. If you wait for the chaos to end, you'll be waiting for the rest of your life. The world doesn't reward perfection. It rewards courage. You've got to move while you're uncertain. You've got to leap before you can see the full path. That's what separates those who talk about change from those who create it. Life is not waiting for you to be ready. It's happening right now, passing you by while you hesitate. You need to stop treating your dreams like they're optional. Stop believing that success is something you prepare for instead of something you pursue. The conditions you're waiting for will never arrive because perfection doesn't exist. There will always be something missing, something imperfect, something uncertain. And that's the point. Growth lives in the imperfect. Confidence is built through action, not through waiting. You build your belief by doing what scares you, by showing yourself you can handle the storm. The more you wait, the weaker your belief becomes. The more you act, the stronger it grows. Action creates momentum, and momentum changes everything. The moment you take one step, even a small one, the universe starts to respond. Suddenly, things that felt impossible begin to move. The opportunities you couldn't see start revealing themselves. The people you needed to meet appear at the right time, but none of that happens until you act. It's like pushing a heavy rock. At first, it's hard, it resists, it feels impossible. But once you get it rolling, it becomes unstoppable. Your life works the same way. You just have to push through the first few moments of resistance. Once you start moving, your energy shifts, your confidence builds, and what once seemed impossible becomes your new normal. Most people underestimate the power of imperfect action. They think they need a flawless plan, the right connections, or the perfect idea before starting. But the truth is, you don't need a perfect plan. You need powerful commitment. You don't need all the answers. You need the courage to begin. Every master was once a beginner who started before they were ready. Every business, every movement, every success story started with a single imperfect step. The magic isn't in perfection. It's in persistence. It's in showing up every day, even when you feel unprepared, even when you doubt yourself, even when no one believes in you yet. Your hesitation is costing you opportunities. Every time you delay, every time you tell yourself, not yet, you lose momentum, confidence, and time, the one resource you can never get back. You say you'll start next week, but next week turns into next month, and next month becomes next year. And suddenly you're looking back wondering where your time went. The people who achieve their dreams aren't luckier than you. They just stopped waiting. They decided that imperfect action today was better than perfect action tomorrow. They understood that the longer they waited, the more fear would grow, and the more comfortable failure would feel. You have to stop being addicted to preparation and start being obsessed with execution. Planning is valuable, but it means nothing without action. Reading, learning, visualizing, all of it is meaningless if you never apply it. You can study success forever and still stay stuck because information doesn't create transformation. Execution does. You can't think your way into success. You must act your way into it. Every day you delay is another day you're building the habit of hesitation. And hesitation kills dreams faster than failure ever will. Failure can teach you something. Hesitation teaches you nothing. You must train yourself to act immediately when inspiration strikes. Don't let ideas sit and die in your mind. If something excites you, move on it. If something scares you, it's probably exactly what you need to do. The longer you wait, the more your mind will fill with reasons why you shouldn't. Action breaks fear, hesitation feeds it. Once you take the first step, your confidence grows, your energy rises, and your vision expands. You begin to realize that most obstacles were illusions created by inaction. The clarity you've been waiting for doesn't appear before you move. It appears because you moved. You will never feel completely ready, and that's okay. Readiness is a myth. The best time to start was yesterday. The next best time is now. The people who build empires, transform their bodies, change their lives. They all have one thing in common. They stopped waiting. They stopped overthinking. They stopped waiting for approval or the perfect plan. They just started. They took the first imperfect step and then another and another, and that's how transformation happens. The world doesn't reward hesitation. It rewards those who take massive, imperfect action over and over until success has no choice but to arrive. Turn fear into fuel, not paralysis. Fear is the invisible wall standing between where you are and where you want to be. It whispers lies in your ear, telling you you're not ready, not good enough, not capable. It convinces you to stay small, to stay safe, to stay comfortable. But what you have to understand is that fear isn't your enemy, it's your guide. Fear shows up not to stop you, but to point you toward growth. Every time you feel fear, it's a signal that something important is on the other side. Fear only has power when you let it control you, when you mistake it for danger instead of direction. The most successful people in the world feel fear just like you do. The difference is they use it as fuel. Fear is energy, raw and powerful. You can let it freeze you, or you can let it drive you. The same adrenaline that makes your hands shake is the same energy that can push you to act with urgency and courage. When you run from fear, you strengthen it. When you face it, you weaken it. Every time you take action in spite of fear, you rewire your brain to trust your strength instead of your doubt. The problem isn't fear itself, it's the meaning you attach to it. You think fear means stop when it actually means go. You think fear is a sign you can't when it's a sign you must. The very things that scare you the most are usually the things that will set you free. You've got to learn to lean into that discomfort. You've got to train your mind to see fear as an invitation instead of a threat. When you feel it, don't pull back, step forward. That's how you build courage. Courage doesn't mean the absence of fear. It means acting despite it. Every time you act in the presence of fear, your confidence grows stronger. You start to realize that fear is an illusion created by your mind to protect you from the unknown. But the unknown is where your greatest growth lies. You can't expand your life while staying inside the walls of certainty. You can't find your power if you're always hiding from what scares you. Think about it. Every major breakthrough in your life happened after you faced something that scared you. You spoke up when it was uncomfortable. You took a risk when it could have gone wrong. You made a move without guarantees. And afterward, you grew. That's not a coincidence. Growth is built on the other side of fear. Every time you avoid fear, you trade potential for comfort. You let your dreams die quietly while convincing yourself you're being smart or cautious. But that's not wisdom. That's hesitation dressed as logic. Your mind will always find reasons to stay the same. It's designed to protect you from risk. But your heart knows the truth, that safety and fulfillment cannot coexist. You either live for comfort or for growth, but you cannot have both. The people who achieve extraordinary things aren't fearless. They've simply learned to dance with fear. They use it as a compass, not a cage. When fear tells them, don't go there, they know that's exactly where they need to go. When fear tells them, you're not ready, they understand that readiness is earned through movement, not waiting. They act while scared, they build while uncertain, and they succeed while others are still hesitating. You can't eliminate fear, but you can transform your relationship with it. You can stop letting it paralyze you and start letting it propel you. Fear feeds on inaction. The longer you sit still, the louder it grows. It multiplies in your mind, building scenarios that never happen. But when you act, fear loses oxygen. It starts to fade because action creates evidence. Evidence that you're capable, that you're stronger than you thought, that you can handle it. Every time you move forward despite fear, you send a message to your subconscious that you are in control. That message builds confidence, and confidence makes fear weaker next time. You have to understand that fear and faith are both beliefs about the future. One believes in disaster, the other believes in possibility. You get to choose which one guides you. Fear is not a wall, it's a door. Behind that door is everything you've been searching for: freedom, confidence, success, fulfillment. But you'll never experience it if you keep standing outside wondering what's on the other side. You have to walk through it. You have to take the risk. You have to trust yourself enough to move, even when it's uncomfortable. Because the truth is, the pain of growth is always temporary, but the pain of regret never leaves. The people who play it safe spend their lives wondering what could have been. The people who face fear spend their lives discovering what's possible. If you want to live a powerful life, you have to make fear your ally. You have to turn that nervous energy into focus, that anxiety into action, that doubt into determination. When you feel that surge of fear before you take a leap, smile. That's your body preparing you for greatness. That energy is your fuel. Use it. Channel it into movement. Use it to speak when your voice shakes, to take the chance when your mind hesitates, to keep going when your body wants to stop. Fear loses its grip when you turn it into motion. The moment you start acting, fear begins to dissolve, replaced by flow, by focus, by strength. The biggest mistake most people make is waiting for fear to disappear before they move. That moment will never come. The only way to make fear disappear is by moving through it. You have to act your way out of fear, not think your way out. Thinking makes it worse. Action makes it smaller. The longer you stay still, the bigger the fear grows in your mind. But once you take that first step, you realize it wasn't as big as you imagined. You realize you've always had the power. You just weren't using it. You were waiting for permission from a feeling that was never meant to stop you in the first place. Every fear you overcome becomes strength you can use. Every time you push through, your tolerance for discomfort expands. You start to crave challenge instead of avoiding it. You stop running from hard things because you know that's where the growth is. And that's when life begins to open up for you. When you stop running from fear and start walking toward it. Fear loses its power when you realize it's not trying to destroy you. It's trying to wake you up. It's trying to remind you that you're capable of more, that you've been playing small, that there's another level waiting for you to step in. And fear is the signal that you're alive, that you're about to evolve. It's not there to punish you. It's there to prepare you. Every great leap forward will bring a wave of fear with it. Let that be your proof that you're moving in the right direction. The stronger the fear, the greater the opportunity behind it. You can let it stop you, or you can let it sharpen you. You can let it drain you, or you can let it drive you. You can let it become your prison, or you can turn it in your power. The choice has always been yours. Your why must be stronger than your excuses. Every single goal you've ever set, every dream you've ever had will be tested by resistance. Life will throw challenges, setbacks, distractions, and doubts at you. And the reason most people fail isn't because they aren't capable. It's because their reason for achieving wasn't strong enough to overpower their excuses. Your why is your internal compass, your source of unshakable motivation, the fire that keeps you moving when everything around you tells you to quit. If your reason isn't powerful, your excuses will always win. And the truth is, your excuses will always show up. The question is whether your why is bigger. Your why is not just a reason to get out of bed in the morning. It's a reason to push through discomfort, to endure pain, to refuse giving up when failure knocks at your door. It's what turns fear into action, doubt into determination, and setbacks into lessons. When your why is clear, when it is emotionally charged, you stop negotiating with yourself. You stop asking if you're ready, if it's convenient, if it's the right time. You just move. The people who achieve extraordinary things have a why that burns so brightly that nothing can extinguish it. Their commitment isn't fragile or conditional. It's absolute, unbreakable, unshakable. Think about what happens when your why is not strong enough. You start rationalizing your failures, blaming others, making excuses for why you can't take action. You say things like, I'll start tomorrow, or I'm too tired, or I'm not ready yet. Every excuse is just fear disguised as logic. And when your why is weak, fear wins every time. But when your why is strong, excuses dissolve. When your reason is compelling, every obstacle becomes a challenge to overcome, every setback becomes fuel, every criticism becomes an opportunity to prove yourself. The stronger your why, the less power your excuses have. Your why is personal, emotional, and deeply rooted in who you are and what you value. It's not something you borrow from someone else or pick because it sounds good. It has to resonate so profoundly that it connects with your identity. Why do you want to succeed? Why do you want to change your body, your business, your life? Why does this matter to you more than comfort, more than fear, more than doubt? That's the question you must answer. The stronger the emotional connection, the more unstoppable you become. People with strong whys act with intensity because their goals are aligned with their deepest desires. When you're struggling to stay consistent, when your energy fades, when temptation and distraction are all around you, it's your why that will pull you through. It's the anchor that keeps you steady when chaos hits. It's the voice in your head that says, keep going. You cannot stop. This matters too much. Without a strong why, you drift, you procrastinate, you settle. But when you discover it, when you attach yourself to it fully, your actions become automatic. You start showing up not because you feel like it, but because you cannot imagine stopping. Your why becomes your driving force, the engine that propels you forward regardless of how hard it gets. Many people underestimate the power of a compelling why. They think talent, strategy, or resources are enough. They are not. Talent without purpose is wasted. Knowledge without reason is useless. Opportunity without drive is meaningless. It's your why that determines whether you fight through adversity or surrender. Your reason must be bigger than your fear, your frustration, your fatigue. Your purpose must outweigh your comfort. When your why is strong, you will find ways to act, to persist, to overcome, and to achieve even when the odds are stacked against you. Your why also gives you clarity. Life throws countless choices, distractions, and temptations at you every day. When your why is powerful, it acts as a filter. It helps you decide what is important and what is not. It prevents you from being derailed by things that don't matter. Every decision becomes aligned with your purpose, and every action becomes meaningful. Without it, life feels scattered, your energy is wasted, and your results remain inconsistent. A strong why focuses your mind, sharpens your actions, and accelerates your growth. It gives you the courage to say no to what doesn't serve your goal and yes to what propels you forward. The people who accomplish extraordinary things do not wait for motivation. They create it through their why. Motivation is fleeting and unreliable. It comes and goes, but your why is permanent and unshakable. It is internal and unstoppable. When motivation fades, your why keeps you moving. When fear threatens to stop you, your why gives you courage. When obstacles appear, your why gives you resilience. Your why is the secret ingredient that turns ordinary effort into extraordinary results. You have to dig deep to find it. It's not always obvious. Sometimes it takes reflection, honesty, and confrontation with yourself. You must ask the hard questions. What am I willing to suffer for? What am I willing to fight for? What will make me get up when the world says no? What pain or discomfort am I willing to endure to create the life I want? Your why is born out of necessity, out of desire, out of the refusal to accept mediocrity. It is personal, emotional, and life-changing. Without it, you drift with it. You become unstoppable. A strong why also transforms your mindset. When you have a compelling reason, setbacks are no longer failures, they are lessons. Criticism becomes fuel, and fear becomes an indicator of growth. You start thinking differently, acting differently, and refusing to accept anything less than what you truly want. Your actions become intentional, consistent, and aligned with your purpose. You no longer follow the whims of fleeting motivation or convenience. You follow the call of your why. It gives meaning to your struggle, focus to your effort, and clarity to your path. Your why must be stronger than the temporary comfort of giving up. It must be bigger than the fear that tells you to quit. It must outweigh the distractions that steal your energy and attention. It must be so powerful that no challenge can extinguish it. Every time you feel like stopping, every time you face doubt, every time the path seems impossible, your why must scream louder than your excuses. It must drive you forward when everything else tries to hold you back. It must be your reason to endure, your reason to fight, and your reason to win. Once you discover your why, everything else falls into place. It becomes the foundation of your standards, the fuel for your action, the compass that guides your decisions, and the force that propels you past fear and doubt. Your why is not optional, it is essential. It is the difference between living an average life and creating a remarkable one. It is the difference between quitting when it's hard and pushing through until you succeed. It is the difference between excuses ruling your life and purpose defining your destiny. Your why is personal, powerful, and permanent. It is the key that unlocks your potential. Without it, your goals remain dreams, your plans remain ideas, and your efforts remain inconsistent. With it, you have unstoppable energy, relentless focus, and unbreakable determination. Every action becomes meaningful, every challenge becomes an opportunity, and every setback becomes a lesson. Your why must be bigger than your excuses, because when it is, nothing can stop you. Discipline and consistency create the results, not motivation. Most people think that success comes from being motivated, from waiting until they feel inspired, from relying on a sudden burst of energy to push them forward. But motivation is fleeting, temporary, and unreliable. Some days it's there, some days it's not. If your results depend on motivation, you will constantly be at the mercy of your feelings. That's why discipline and consistency are far more powerful than waiting to feel like it. Discipline doesn't require emotion. It doesn't care if you're tired, distracted, or scared. It's a decision, a commitment, a promise to yourself that no matter how you feel, you will show up and take action. Consistency is what compounds over time. It's not about occasional bursts of effort. It's about daily action repeated over weeks, months, and years. The small things done consistently create massive results. Writing one page every day, saving a little money every week, exercising a few minutes consistently. These actions may seem insignificant in isolation, but over time, they build momentum, skill, and transformation. The problem is most people overestimate what they can do in a single day and underestimate what they can achieve over a long period of consistent effort. That's why they give up too soon, abandon their plans, and then blame themselves for not being motivated enough. Discipline is the bridge between goals and results. You can have vision, passion, and intelligence, but without discipline, those things remain ideas. Discipline allows you to take the necessary actions, even when you don't feel like it, even when you're exhausted, even when it's inconvenient. It's the muscle you build that keeps you moving forward despite distractions and resistance. Discipline is not punishment, it's freedom. It frees you from the chains of your own excuses. It allows you to create momentum that doesn't depend on how you feel. Every successful person in the world will tell you the same thing. They didn't rely on motivation. They relied on discipline. Consistency and discipline also create self-respect. When you commit to showing up every day, when you honor your word to yourself, you build integrity, confidence, and trust in your ability to succeed. Every time you give in to excuses, you weaken your self-belief. Every time you push through, you strengthen it. That internal strength becomes unshakable over time. Motivation may inspire you for a moment, but discipline builds a life. Motivation may get you started. Consistency ensures you finish and thrive. The people who win in life are not the ones who feel like it most of the time. They are the ones who refuse to quit, who act even when it's hard, who make showing up a non-negotiable. Another important point is that discipline is not about being perfect. It's about being persistent. You don't have to execute flawlessly every single day. What matters is that you return, that you continue, that you refuse to let one failure or lapse define your path. Consistency allows for growth, adaptation, and learning. The people who achieve remarkable results aren't immune to mistakes. They are simply relentless in their effort. They understand that action over time outweighs brilliance in the moment. One day of exceptional effort means nothing if it isn't followed by another day and another and another. That's how momentum is built and maintained. Consistency also trains your mindset. When you act every day, you begin to see results, which fuels confidence and belief in your ability to create change. Even when the outcomes are slow to appear, the discipline itself strengthens your resilience, pace, and persistence. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to understand that the path to success is not a sprint, but a marathon, and that every small step contributes to a much larger result. Your mind starts to accept that action produces outcomes, which reduces procrastination, fear, and doubt. In short, consistency rewires your brain to expect and demand progress. Many people sabotage their own success because they chase motivation instead of building habits. They wait for inspiration, energy, or mood to align with their goals. But life is rarely convenient, and if you wait for motivation, you will be waiting forever. Discipline, on the other hand, doesn't care about your mood. It's a commitment to yourself that transcends how you feel. It is the promise that you will do what needs to be done regardless of circumstances. Discipline is choosing long-term results over short-term comfort. It is deciding that your vision matters more than temporary feelings. It is refusing to let excuses dictate your destiny. Consistency also allows you to create momentum that compounds over time. One action leads to another. One success builds confidence for the next, and one disciplined choice creates a chain reaction. The effect is not immediate, but exponential. The small actions you take consistently create results that eventually become unstoppable. Without consistency, even the best strategies fail. Without discipline, even the strongest motivation fades. The people who change their lives don't rely on luck or spurts of effort. They rely on the compounding power of repeated action. Discipline also creates freedom. The more disciplined you become, the more control you have over your life. The less you rely on fleeting emotions or external circumstances, the less chaos dictates your day. You can set your schedule, pursue your goals, and maintain your energy because you've built the internal structure to support it. Discipline gives you autonomy because you are no longer ruled by impulses or temporary feelings. It allows you to create the life you want instead of reacting to life as it comes at you. The freedom to create comes from the structure you build for yourself through consistent effort. Many people underestimate the importance of showing up every day, even in small ways. They think that only massive action counts. But small, consistent actions build habits. Habits build systems, and systems produce results. Motivation might get you to take one massive action, but discipline ensures you take the next one and the one after that. Success is not about occasional heroics. It is about persistent, disciplined action. It's about doing what you said you would do over and over until your goals become inevitable. You must also understand that discipline and consistency work together. Discipline keeps you moving when you feel resistance. Consistency ensures that movement compounds into results. One without the other is weak. Discipline without consistency is like starting a car and stopping before you move. Consistency without discipline is like moving randomly without direction. Together, they create unstoppable force. They are the backbone of achievement. They are what separate those who dream from those who do. They are what allow ordinary people to accomplish extraordinary things. Your results are a reflection of your daily actions, repeated without fail. If you want to change your life, you must commit to showing up every day. You must refuse to be swayed by temporary feelings, distractions, or excuses. You must make a promise to yourself that your actions matter more than your mood, that your habits matter more than inspiration, and that your future is worth every disciplined step you take today. Discipline and consistency are not glamorous, but they are effective. They are not flashy, but they are unstoppable. They are the foundation upon which success, growth, and transformation are built. The people who achieve their goals don't wait for motivation to strike. They create it through action. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They build it through consistency. They don't rely on feelings. They rely on discipline. Every day they show up, they push forward, they honor their commitments, and they keep moving no matter what. That relentless action compounds over time, producing results that feel miraculous to those who aren't willing to do the work. But it's not magic. It's the power of discipline and consistency, and it's available to anyone willing to embrace it